Created by Brett.
Hey Brett, what are the weirdest things you've ever eaten?
I've eaten some really weird things. When I was coming up with the list of things that I've eaten, I was shocked. It's kind of revolting. And I put them all into categories. So it starts off with small animals in a garden, weird land-based meats, seafood, non-food, just gross stuff, and things I ate when I was a kid. So when I was at nature camp, they had us lick a banana slug, which is a large yellow slug. And you go, just to sort of get you over your fear of nature and uncleanliness. I've eaten escargot, snails, which are, God, it's revolting. And it just goes to show you the power of garlic and butter. Because if you put garlic and butter on anything, including a snail, you'll eat it. And then one time I was eating a bowl of cereal, just eating, and I'm like, wait a second. There's a little tiny bug in there. Let me pick that out. I put it over there, and then wait, there's another bug. Oh, man. So I went and I threw that bowl of cereal out, and I got the box of cereal to pour myself a new bowl. Turns out the box was full of these little bugs. So I'd been eating bugs for a while. And now, weird land-based meats. I didn't want to say red meats, but these are things that are like walking around on the land. I've eaten haggis, which is a bunch of organ meats stuffed inside of an intestine. Some friends took me to Tijuana, Mexico from Los Angeles, which is not very far, and they had this little taco stand that they particularly liked going to. Well, I'm eating these tacos, 2-3 tacos, and they're good, and the meat's kind of nice and tender, and it's like, okay, it's fine. They said, hey Brett, try this other one here. It has brains, cow brains. I'm like, I can eat cow brains, sure, and I tried it, and it really tasted like brains. Which is a weird thing to say, but you kind of know what brains taste like, and I don't know why. Well, a few hours later, when we had driven back into the United States, they said, you know those first tacos you were eating? I said, yeah. You know where the meat came from? I said, a cow. They said, you know what part of the cow? No. It's the meat around the eyeball. And I'd been eating those. And this was a couple hours later, and it was at that point that I started feeling sick, because they told me what I had eaten. When I was growing up, my mom bought tongue one time. It's really soft. I've eaten ground ostrich, I've eaten buffalo, I've eaten alligator tail. I tried frog legs one time. I've eaten and I don't like liver. And most people are like, liver is just ordinary. It's a filter. It's like you have a filter that takes all the disgusting stuff out of your body so that it doesn't have to be in your body. But then you're eating just that. It's concentrated gross. Ugh. And then the last of the land-based weird foods that I've eaten was a hamburger sundae. It was a specialty of this one restaurant. My friends kind of forced me to get it. They took my menu away and said to the waitress, he's gonna have the hamburger sundae. And it was a bun, a beef patty, scoop of ice cream, whipped cream, hot fudge, and nuts. And it was really good. It was so good. It was the whole combination. It was like having a beef hamburger with a milkshake. It's just they put them all on one plate, and it was fantastic. The only thing, and I couldn't bring myself to do it, is it needed ketchup. Okay, that's it for the land-based weird foods that I've eaten. Now onto things that live in the water. I've had sushi, which some people don't think is very exotic, but I've had raw octopus, raw squid, raw yellowtail. Yellowtail is so good. And another one that I like in particular is eel. It's a nice teriyaki eel. The long, they are tasty. I've eaten raw oysters right out of the shell. You just go, gulp. I have fished crawdads, crayfish, out of a creek, and you boil those and you eat those. They're like little tiny lobsters, except you're getting them yourself in their freshwater. God, they're good. Ugh. Shark fin soup, raw fish eggs, both caviar and then other kinds of roe. Seaweed paper, of course, that kind of comes with the sushi, but I've eaten it just, here's a sheet of seaweed paper. Crunch, 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 crunch. Then the last thing, I was at an aquarium where I knew a guy who worked there. Well, he takes us up sort of behind the scenes, and the fish in the aquarium and whatnot need to eat whatever they eat. And brine shrimp, which are sea monkeys, I don't know if you've seen those advertised in magazines or whatever, but there's things called sea monkeys. They're just these little tiny things. He has this vat full of these little brine shrimp. And he said, yeah, you can just reach in and just... So I ate a few little live brine shrimp. Just a little bit salty and kind of squishy. But I killed the thing right in my mouth. I'm not sure how I feel about that. So that's it for the things that live in the water. I've also eaten some things that aren't really food as an adult. I can't remember, I don't think it's clover, but there's some that's like, it has a yellow flower and a long stem. If you chew on the stem, it's just kind of sour and pleasant. So I've chewed on that. That's not really food, but and then also when you're hiking, if you're too thirsty, you can fool your body into salivating by putting a rock in your mouth and just sucking on the rock. So I sucked on a rock when I was on a hike and I was very tired and thirsty. Tired doesn't matter. I was thirsty, so I put a rock in my mouth. Now there are a couple things that are just gross. One of them is, and this doesn't sound gross right off the bat, but raw cookie dough. I've eaten plenty of raw cookie dough in my life, and the reason that that's bad is it has raw eggs in it. And I know that boxers and weightlifters and stuff can just crack raw eggs into a glass and drink them, and that's okay, but you can get salmonella and it's just not a good idea. And the other thing that's kind of gross, I was home in my parents' house, I was early 20s I think, and there was nothing to eat in the refrigerator. It might have been in high school, it might have been teens. Cold oatmeal. I'm like, well, this needs some flavor, so I put ketchup on it. It was horrible. And then the things I ate when I was a kid, I ate paste, because I remember it's sort of minty. I ate Play-Doh, because I remember it's sort of salty. And I probably ate boogers, because that's what kids do. In fact, I have a theory on why kids eat boogers, and if you want to ask me about why kids eat boogers down in the thingy thing, I would be happy to make a video about that. So those are the weird things that I've eaten. Thank you for asking that. If you're not subscribed yet, please do. And if you have a question for me, just leave it down in the thingy thing. And then if I like your question and I can answer it, maybe I'll make you a video next time.
Please share this vid